Oh, hey now, y'all. What's happening on a Tuesday morning here in the Bay? You got Paulie Mac's Particles coming at you. Creative Tony to my left. Paulie Mac right in front of you, wearing my celebratory Golden State Warriors The City shirt because I love what I'm seeing out here in this new, can I call it the Jimmy Butler era that
Sure.
we've now delved into? Dude, I'm loving this, bro. I'm loving this. And by the way, shout out to Christian Eric, Don Peralta, Naomi, Jeff Winkler, Marcel, Mike Brasino, dude. SF Charlie. Okay, Tony. SF Charlie. That's what I'm talking about. I need more SF Charlies in my life. Tech 1982. Leah Phillips. Oh, yeah, they're calling out for the robe. Now, Tony, I see you've robed up on a Tuesday.
That's right.
Let's talk about that for a little bit. Like explain why, in case people missed last week. What are you doing and why, Creative Tony? Go.
Well, we celebrated robes last week. It was the number 3.
Yeah.
It was number 3 of Tony's top 3. I forget what day last week. I think it was Tuesday. And so you said, why don't we make every Tuesday ROBY Tuesday? So I said, you know what? I'm breaking out the robe. The robe is on. I feel great too, by the way, because I'm so comfortable.
You know what's funny, Tony? I don't know if you ever heard this, but like in the old days before, like, internet, cell phones, all that kind of stuff, when we grew up, like my standard late night kind of schedule would be David Letterman show at 12:30 and then head to bed after that. Now, the word on the street was back then is that David Letterman used to wear like jeans. He would wear like a suit and a tie, but then when he would go behind his desk, they always said like he was wearing jeans. So you never really knew. Now you speak about comfort. You're going top robe t-shirt combo. Dare I ask what's going on the lower sector of your personage? Like I'm wondering now if this is a top to bottom thing. Are you in boxers? I don't know.
I'm not in boxers, man, but I'm in sweats and I'm in slippers. So I'm fully like comfort mode. Dude, Chris Berman used to do behind the desk. He used to wear shorts underneath the desk.
That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And there were also like he also used to wear like this Andy Sipowicz short sleeve button down shirt with the tie.
Shout out Sipowicz. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
For those that don't know Sipowicz, man, get involved. NYPD Blue, Andy Sipowicz. Come on.
Sipowicz. Great name, too. That's my boy Sipowicz.
Dennis Franz. Love to Dennis Franz. I don't know how you pronounce it, but not Hans, not Hans and Franz, but Dennis Franz.
Dennis Franz, by the way, was I think the first dude on national TV to just be blazing bare ass on national TV. He used to go bottomless. I'm not serious. That was like a big deal back then. Like, oh my God, there's like a male buttocks on the TV. What?
That reminds me of Harold and Kumar. I forget which one where they go to the bottomless party.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that's a Guantanamo Bay. Yeah, part 2, Escape from Guantanamo Bay. Yeah, and then the one guy did like no manscaping, and he's like a wild jungle down there.
It was like mid-thigh. We're talking mid-thigh.
It's a harsh visual. It's like he's got a full Ted Nugent beard in his groin. It's pretty harsh. Yeah,
Paulie, I want to announce something real quick, just for housekeeping. We like to do housekeeping.
Please do.
Beginning, middle, and end of the show. Yeah, housekeeping. Supers now is available on the show. We thank you so much for everybody diving in yesterday, giving us love.
Thank you.
If you have a question for the show, or if you want to get a comment all the way to the top, you can click the little icon there and add your little financial contribution to the show.
Yeah,
Paulie Mac, take it.
Well, I have a question. You said if I have any questions, I can ask. I actually have a question.
Yes.
So, should I join you for this robed up Tuesday, ROBY Tuesday? Like, should I be involved? I have my robe. It's within reach. I can grab it.
If it's within reach, I believe it's mandatory.
All right. Well, then give me like 10 seconds. Hang on. Let me robe up. I'll just stand by.
You bet. And I'm going to review Mount Robe more we put together last Tuesday. And we're going to talk Jimmy Butler into the Dubs. We're going to get more into the Super Bowl. New York Post's Mark Cannizzaro is joining us at 11:30. If you don't know Mark, get involved. If you do know Mark, check out his article.
I got to say, man. Right? I gotta say, already there's a change. There's like a change in my mentality. There's a change in my physicality, and quite frankly, there's a change in my confidence. My confidence skyrockets when I'm wearing a robe, and I don't know why. It's a fascinating. It's fascinating.
It's Dion's look good, feel good, play good. Right.
By the way, is there still such a thing in 2025 as we kind of catapult into the future with driverless cars and all this crazy shit going on? Is there still a community out there of flashers? Are people still flashing? I'm just asking. I don't even know if it's still a thing. Wait a minute.
Oh,
Sons of Johnny
dude,
Lee. Sons of
okay.
Johnny Lee. All right,
Sons of Johnny Lee.
Hold on.
Dude,
Hold on.
Boo, everybody. This is Boo. Boo, meet everybody. This is Sons of Johnny Lemaster. So I was brought up with the Jesuit mantra of being a person for others. Sons of Johnny Lee is a person for others.
No, Sons of Johnny Lee and I, we go way back with the Murph and Mac show, and he's always been one of our greatest supporters. Hey, Sons, bro, thank you very much. And I'm going to ask you to double down because I have a question for you. Well, hold on. Let's address this first. Contributing to the curse jar. Here we go. Sharon Osbourne looks effing ridiculous. I kind of agree, bro.
Yeah.
Sons, no, she looks nuts. I don't know what she's doing. And she's a pretty woman. Like, she didn't need to do that.
No.
There is an actual aging process that human beings go through. 9 times out of 10, you're better off letting nature take its course than tucking this and pulling that because she looks crazy. I agree. And I kind of like Sharon because I think she probably saved Ozzy's life.
I think she did too. Yeah.
Multiple times over the years. So I'm glad she's here and she's taking care of the Ozman. But I feel you, son. She looks crazy. And then he continues. I knew Farhan was a double agent. F that guy. Screw you, Tony. That's for you and your Brandon Crawford. And then Andy Reid, how was that fumble risky? Hey, Sons, you've covered it all, brother. You've covered it all.
Phenomenal.
And by the way, I would ask Sons at home or Rags or Dom or Leah, all of our stalwarts here, Jason, Darren Reyes, you guys want to go ahead and robe up at home, be my guest. You could robe up and then send your photos in, and maybe we'll start posting pictures of what's the best way to do that, Tony? If they want to send in photos, what would they should do? Use the email address?
Yeah, use the email address, pauliespod@gmail.com. And if Rags is at the office wearing a robe, I'd like to see a picture of Rags at the office in a robe.
Rags would be the guy to do it. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but robes have actually entered the rock and roll community at times. I don't know if you're aware of this, Tony. Well, first of all, the guys in that prog rock band, Yes, Roundabout, Owner of a Lonely Heart, they used to walk on stage in capes. That's a fact. They used to cape up. They would cape up on stage. Now, I don't know if you've ever looked, Creative Tony, I'm talking to you. Have you ever looked at the back cover of the really classic Rush album, 2112? Have you ever looked at it?
No.
Okay, let me stop you right there. You want to know what all 3 guys in Rush are doing? They're wearing robes.
Yes,
they're wearing effing robes on the back, and they look ridiculous, bro. It's the worst look of all time. In fact, when Dave Grohl inducted Rush into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I think Grohl gave his induction speech wearing a robe as a tribute to Rush. So it's been done. It's been done in the Rock and Roll
also
community.
you can change it from a noun to a verb and go robing. Like I was at part of a wedding where the groomsman gift was a monogrammed robe with my name on it, Giants logo. It was a really wonderful robe. I loved it. Terry cloth. And then that night after the reception, we all put our robes on and we went robing around the reception. So you can turn it into a verb as well, Paulie.
Robing. Okay, well, I'm robing right now. We're both robing. And again, if you'd be good enough to robe up on a Roby Tuesday, send photos of yourselves in your favorite robe, and we'll post them up on the show tomorrow. We can follow up on a Wednesday. Creative Tony, go ahead.
And also, last thing about Sons of Johnny Lee, thank you again. And also, yes, dude, Farhan back with the Dodgers, double agent.
Dude,
you know what? It's like double guns then. Double guns to Farhan is what I say.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for nothing, essentially. Right. Really, thanks for really a whole lot of nothing, Farhan coming in. And yes, I smell double agent too. I have one last question for Sons of Johnny Lee, and thank you for the generosity, man. We appreciate that. Did I hear correctly on the street? Because the people on the text line were talking before the show launched. Word on the street is that Sons of Johnny Lemaster is going to be at that final Sabbath gig, Tony. And I'm looking, yeah. I'm a little jealous. I kind of wish I could. I kind of wish I could tag along for that one. I gotta be honest.
No question, dude. I would love to see that. Even though, one of the reasons I think they're doing this is because Ozzy's health, I think, is deteriorating, and he's struggling with Parkinson's, but he's still got his voice. He still has his pipes, right? And I'm really excited that he is feeling good enough to do the show. That really makes me excited. So I would love to be at by the way, the list, how many bands are on this show?
I'd say anybody that's anybody like in the hard rock metal community is showing up to pay respects. And it just goes to show you like the impact that Black Sabbath has had on the hard rock community. It's like everyone's going in to kiss the ring essentially and bow down to the supreme rulers of the metal kingdom, because that would be Black Sabbath, my friend. So yeah, that's awesome. And Don Peralta saying right now they're going 500 a pop for standing room. 500 a pop for oh, hold on.
Jeez.
We got confirmation. Sons is clarifying. He says, I'm not going to Sabbath.
Oh, okay.
But he will be at Oasis. Of course he will.
Nice,
He'll be at
nice.
Oasis at Cardiff on July 5th. Of course you will be. I know that. John Joseph checking in with some prices too. $1,150 for VIP tickets. So that'd be over $1,000 gets you one ticket. Whew. For an event like this, though, it might kind of be worth it. Like if you have the money, it's probably going to be an all-day affair. And just like Tony said, one incredible act after another. All Tony would, I assume, will be playing Black Sabbath material too.
Yeah, yeah. And if I've seen Sabbath, I've been lucky enough to see him with you, Paulie. And so if I had never seen Sabbath, I might be getting my ass out there because they're a sight to behold, especially all four original members, Bill Ward back behind the drum kit, which is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
that's what makes me very excited. I'm sure Geezer Butler is very thrilled to be playing, have his rhythm section back together.
You just hit the nail on the freaking head, buddy. That rhythm section in Black Sabbath with Geezer Butler and Bill Ward. I mean, you're going to be hard pressed to find a better rhythm section than the two of those guys locking in. So, all right, now housekeeping out of the way. Oh, go ahead, T.
I was going to say, before we get to Tony's top three and bookmarks, Paulie, you talk about chemistry, right? And that rhythm section chemistry.
Yeah.
Might there be a chemistry building between Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry and your Dubs?
I'm glad you brought that up. First of all, let's go over last night a little bit. Warriors get another win. That's their second straight since Butler's arrived. 125-111 over the Milwaukee Bucks. No Giannis on the floor last night, but still, I was very pleased with what I saw. Butler had 20 points last night. Curry had 38, including 6 threes. And how about this, Tony? Steph Curry has now scored 30-plus in 4 consecutive games.
Yeah.
It's the first time he's done that since 2021. So
Curry's having fun, dude. He's having fun.
Well, I'm having fun watching the team again. Like, it's fun to watch the Warriors again since Butler has arrived. And it's gone so good beyond because I was worried, dude. I was worried about how's he going to fit in and how's this going to work. But you can see Kerr's already put stuff in the offense. Like, there was a couple of times, like, the whole offensive possession just would clear to one side and let Butler go to work. So Kerr's gonna help this thing along. He's gonna work some sets, I think, to Butler's strengths. And
dude, Moses Moody in the lineup. Moses Moody in the starting lineup. How about that? And I've always liked Moody. I feel like he might be one who benefits greatly from Butler's presence.
Well, I think the whole team is going to benefit, and I agree. Moody had a nice game last night. He was very, very inspired last night, kind of running around. And so I got to tell you, man, I feel really good about this so far, Tony. 2 games in. Has this kind of surpassed what you expected, or is this about what you thought we'd be seeing?
This is what I was hoping for based on what they're spending, based on what the whole, diving deep into the waters of getting another superstar to go alongside Curry. So it's like, this is what I was hoping for. I am a little surprised based on his recent numbers and the time he took off before he came to the Dubs, but this is the type of player that they wanted, that they're spending for, that they were hoping to get, and they're getting him. I just want, like we said yesterday, stay cool. Just keep it cool. Just keep it. Stay in the groove. Stay in the groove. Like Madonna said, get into the groove. Right.
Great track. That's a great track right there. Get in the groove.
It's a great
boy.
song.
You got to prove your love to me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Creative Tony. Also want to remind you do. Boy, you've got to boy. She'll call you boy in her tracks too. She just like emasculate you immediately. Madonna.
Totally.
Hey, boy, get into the groove. Creative Tony, want to remind everybody our special guest today will be Mark Cannizzaro of the New York Post. He's one of the great sports writers on the East Coast. And if you listen to Murph and Mac, pardon me, you've heard him over the years. He's been a great guest. He's a pizza lover. He's a music lover, and he's a premier sports writer. He checks like all the boxes that the Paulie Mac particle community is looking for in a guest. So Marky will join us in about 15 minutes, Tony.
And also, just real quick, for our friends at Longbridge Pizza, for celebrating their 11th anniversary today, the keg of Pliny the Younger has been tapped. I got word from Neil Donardi. The keg of Pliny the Younger has officially been tapped. If you want some Pliny the Younger, head to Longbridge Pizza on 3rd Street, 2347 3rd Street in San Francisco. Go.
How long do you think a keg like that will last?
Ooh, good question, man.
Will that last the entire day, or will that be drained by like 1 p.m. today? You know what I mean?
It depends, man. Like, Neil texted me saying, "Hey, get in here, and if we have some left, I'll save you some." I'm like, dude, you're not gonna have any left. Right. So because it usually goes pretty fast. Once the word gets out, it usually goes pretty fast because it's delicious stuff.
John Joseph said 2 hours. 2 hours you got from the time it's tapped till the time it's kicked. Yeah. Kick it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it, dude. So Paulie, I'm thrilled about the Dubs. I still love it. I'm still riding the afterglow of the ass kicking. That's what we called it yesterday. The ass kicking afterglow of Super Bowl licks.
Me too, bro. Me too. Yesterday at the end of the show, I said this, and I was only half kidding. I'm like, I think I might go back and start watching that game again, because if you turn on the NFL Network, they've just been replaying the game with all the ads cut out, which I love, because you get to see Mahomes just getting his ass kicked, snap after snap after snap. Yeah. But again, as I said Monday, and I'm being totally, I'm just being totally real and honest with you guys. Part of me, like, I love it, Tony, but on the other hand, like, I'm kind of envious and jealous that the Niners could not achieve what the Eagles have. I mean, Mahomes has beaten the Niners twice, dude, in the Super Bowl. You have no idea how much I freaking hate that. But
it's awful.
Back to your original thing. Yes, I'm enjoying the afterglow. It's great. The parade has been set for Valentine's Day. Okay, get ready. Here it comes. They're expecting 1 million people to show up. Tony, if we could get a prop bet going right now, over under on arrests at the Eagles Super Bowl parade.
Dude, imagine
there's going to be hundreds. There's going to be hundreds of them.
I hope the Philly PD is getting paid like triple time to work that thing, because that is going to be mayhem.
It's I mean, Philadelphia basically comes unhinged when they win a title.
Dude, they were lighting Kermit the Frog on fire after the game.
I kind of enjoyed that. I got to be honest. I kind of enjoyed that. I've seen so much. I've seen girls fist fighting. I've seen there's so much footage on social media of all these crazy celebrations, if you even want to call them that, that broke out on Sunday night. But what do you think? Over under on arrests at the Super Bowl parade?
Oh, double digits for sure. I don't know. I mean,
I'm going triple digits. I'm going in the 100. Yeah, I'm serious. I'm serious. Man. What do you think?
Hey, dude, talking about this parade, it makes me want to get to Bookmarks, because there's some really good bookmark stuff about Philly in the Bookmarks.
I couldn't.
Go ahead. Yeah, and
no, I was gonna say I couldn't be more relaxed in my robe. So anything you want to do is fine. It's fine with me, man.
It's a ROBY Tuesday, and just to remind everybody, our Mount Robemore, I think we came to the conclusion, was the dude from Big Lebowski, Tony Soprano,
correct,
Dom Draper from Mad Men, and Hugh Hefner was our Mount Robemore.
And again, I have no actual visual proof of this, but the image in my head is that he also belongs on Mount Robemore, is Warriors special assistant defensive coach Ron Adams.
Yes.
Ron Adams is just a buddy of ours, and like the confidence of Ron, he's writing poetry, he's drinking fine wine. Like, I just see him in a robe. I'm sorry. And I see him in a silk robe. And a lot of times I feel like Ron walks around, it's not even tied. You know what I mean? It's just open. It's just wide open.
Mine's open right now. I'm free, and I'm loving every minute of it, as Kramer said.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's get some bookmarks going, P.
Okay.
It's time.
Sure, go ahead, laugh if you want to.
For bookmarks.
Maybe that's how you get your kicks. You and your good time buddies.
PMP style.
Well, I got a flash for you, Joy Boy. Party time is over.
All right, Joy Boy. What do you got for us today?
Party time is over. Hey, Steph's a joy boy, Paulie. He's really stoked about having Jimmy Butler in the mix. So here we go. Paulie and I both saw this separately, and we both wanted to post this. So here we go. Right. I'm sharing this right away, Paulie. This is a woman caught on camera at the Super Bowl with a Patrick Mahomes voodoo doll.
And she's not kidding around. She means business. Yeah.
Look at this. Look at this.
It's tremendous. Just tremendous. Over and over again. Keep it, because she's not messing around. I don't.
An Eagles fan with Mahomes.
And look, she's rocking back and forth in her seat. She's probably like speaking different spells and stuff. Dude, I'm afraid of that kind of stuff, dude.
The fact that she's rocking back and forth is really what's unnerving to me.
It is unnerving. And look, she hasn't stopped poking him with that thing over and over. And I love she's sitting right in front of some Chief fans too. That's great.
Oh, man, that's so good. Okay, so now let's go up to here. Okay. I wanted to show you this. Okay. The tweet says, in Gronk's career, and I want to also say in Kittle's career,
yes,
he never half-assed a block the way Kelsey did on this one. Okay,
Kelsey had a horrible game. Yeah.
Should Kelsey maybe think about calling it?
Maybe. I mean, he didn't do anything productive in that game. He dropped a couple of balls. Yeah.
Watch Kelsey. He's on the right of your screen. See 87.
I got him. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Watch this attempt at a block. Watch this. See, and Mahomes doesn't even know what's coming, dude. Look.
Wow.
Oh,
That was his man. That was Kelsey's man that got there.
That was exactly.
I see
And
that
it's like-
again. Run that back one more time.
Here it comes,
I just want to
here
see
it
how
comes.
he gets around Kelsey so fast.
I mean, this is
He's got
dude.
wow. Nothing.
Hey, you know what? If
Nothing.
I'm George Kittle, I'm rescinding my invitation to Tight End University to Travis Kelsey.
Wait,
That's not happening.
I mean, what are you saying? You're wondering if his heart is in this, or like, what's your?
I'm saying that the tight ends everywhere should be offended by that effort. That is, this Jerry Thornton, who's tweeted it, says in Gronk's entire career, but I'd like to substitute in Kittle's entire career. He never half-assed a block.
No, I think Kittle probably takes more pride in his blocking than maybe any tight end in the league. He's a premier blocker. Yeah, what the hell is this?
All right, next up on Bookmarks. Look at this. Breaking news.
Okay.
All Philadelphia public schools will be closed on Friday.
That's gangster. Oh, that's so cool.
Here's the official announcement. Here we go.
Yeah.
When I saw manager and director Teal's tie over there, I forgot, but I'll wear it next year when we come back. Madam Mayor, we're pleased to announce that all schools in the School District of Philadelphia and the Dr. Constance E. Clayton Education Center Central Office will be closed on Friday. Go Birds!
Wow. Go Birds. Yeah.
How about that, man?
Is
that great?
No, that's fantastic. I mean, that's kind of thing like kids will remember for the rest of their lives. Like those championship celebratory victory parades, they're incredible. You and I got to ride in one, dude. It's like with the Giants. It was an unforgettable experience. I mean, like even now, dude, I'll still go into my phone and watch some of that footage because it's surreal. So I love it. I'm glad. And kids should be there, dude. It's a celebratory day. God only knows when
the eagle is there too. The eagle is the eagle mascot is there for the announcement. It's so good.
I like that too.
Paulie, we talked about Joy Boy. We talked about Bookman being Joy Boy. You and I both said that at the parade, it is nothing but pure joy.
It really
everybody's faces. It's a fantastic event. So I'm very happy for the city of Philadelphia. I hope they behave. I hope they stay well behaved. Do you know what I mean?
I doubt they will. I doubt they will, Tony. Yeah, that's
man.
Philly now. Yeah.
Oh, so and then because we were talking about Black Sabbath earlier, we got to let this play. Okay, we got to put some Black Sabbath up on the show. It's just in celebration of the show. Back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Here we go. Look at
God. Look at that face. Look at that face. Sharon.
Oh, it's the best.
We love you.
Hey, and the last bookmark before we get to Tony's top three.
Okay.
On this date in 1926. Leslie Nielsen was born.
I interest you in a nightcap?
No, thank you. I don't wear them.
I don't recall seeing your name on the guest list.
Nothing to be embarrassed about. I sometimes go by my maiden name.
Where's your prison number?
It's unlisted.
Frank.
You're both right. Life isn't always fair. Just think the next time I shoot someone, I could be arrested.
You know, a white guy with a mustache, about 6'3".
An awfully big mustache.
Is this some kind of bust?
Well, it's very impressive, yes. But we need
All
to
right.
ask you
All right. Very good. Leslie, it's his birthday today. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Now, he's no longer with us, right?
No longer with us, man.
Yeah.
I loved Leslie Nielsen, man. Like even the shows Police Squad before Naked Gun, which Naked Gun is based on, those were just incredible shows. I loved his style. Of course, Naked Gun was such a massive hit back in the 80s. And I felt like when he left us, it wasn't celebrated nearly enough in my mind. So,
hey, fair enough. You got him in today, buddy.
Right. So there you go. That's bookmarks for you, buddy. And I just
you're getting a lot of love on Police Squad, by the way. People are backing you. Police Squad. Yeah. With Jeff Winkler, Dracula dead and loving it. You know what I mean? Yeah. The body of work speaks for itself. By the way, Tony, I think I'm going to disrobe only because I'm starting to get kind of hot.
Nice. You're starting to sweat. I love it.
A little bit because I got multiple layers on. Yeah. So I'm going to disrobe.
Make sure you keep it nearby because on a ROBY Tuesday, we need to wrap up the show in our robes. Okay.
Okay.
Is that a deal?
Sure.
If you got time, Paul, I would love to do Tony's top three before we bring in Mark Cannizzaro. Your thoughts.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Here we go.
Tony's top three. Tony's top three. Tony's top three. Yes, sir.
All right, there we go.
We get to feed him. Thank you.
All right, and here we go, bud. So yeah, Rags, I love it, dude.
What you got?
He just said yes, T3. So, Paulie, This is not going to make you very happy of the first question out of the gates. And again, Mark Cannizzaro from the New York Post joining us in a few minutes. My first question has to do with your guy. We'll ask Mark Cannizzaro about this too. Your guy, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
According to DraftKings,
Uh-huh.
there is a certain team that has the third best chance in bringing Aaron Rodgers on board. I'll say the team that's leading the charge is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Uh-huh.
The second team, the Las Vegas Raiders. Third team, Paulie, in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes. I don't want to call I just take them sweepstakes. Are your San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, for Christ's sakes. Okay. All right. So what's the I had not seen that. Yeah, go ahead.
Would you want Aaron Rodgers to come to to the Bay and be I would assume backup quarterback to Brock Purdy? That's my question, buddy. Would you want him?
My answer is no. I would not like that. I really don't want him polluting the Levi Stadium. I don't want him contaminating our locker room. Point to something positive that's happened with Aaron Rodgers recently. Go ahead.
Dude.
Tell me something positive. What's positive or productive that he's been involved with? I don't know, say the last 4 or 5 seasons.
The last 4 or 5 seasons, I can't.
He ain't going to go into some time machine and then step out and be 32 years old and starting to play great football again. First of all, he's looked like ass most of these games he started with the Jets. Now, is that all his fault? Is that the team around him? A combination of both? Probably a combination of both.
Sure.
But no, if you're asking me, dude, I know the resume. I know he's talented. I know he's one of the best of all time. He's going to the Hall of Fame. But no, I don't want him on the 49ers. I just don't. I just think there's too much bad that can come with it instead of good. How about yourself? Where are you with that?
I'm with you, P. I don't want it. It's just I think he wants to be like the guy still. And he's not the guy anymore. And I feel like he needs to come to grips with not being the guy.
Right.
I feel like he should just hang it up, go into coaching, go into broadcasting, or become an ayahuasca shaman if that's what you want.
I hate to do this on the air, but I got to do some producing on the air for you, Tony. I'm talking to Mark Cannizzaro right now via text. Yeah. He's asking if you could resend the invite to his email address. So
sure.
Go ahead and fire that off to Marky. Sorry, everybody. I'm talking to Tony and Mark at the same time. Stand by while we try to arrange this.
You bet, dude. Hang on one sec. Let me do this real quick.
I'm saying Tony going to resend now.
Nice. This is
on the air producing. This is what happens, kids. Yeah.
I think this will work here.
All right. We should be good to go.
This is all part of the new era. Like we didn't used to have to do this in booking guests. You know what I mean?
I do know. I just texted you his email address. So take that and use that address and resend the invite for Mark Cannizzaro. Yeah. New York Post, everybody. Stand by. He should
make sure I have the right address. Okay, there we go. All right, P. And
you got them.
Hang tight. I just want to make sure the ducks are still being fed.
You got to feed the ducks.
And
that's a given. Yeah.
Paulie.
Oh, actually, Marky, if you're listening, check spam too. Let me see. I'll tell Mark.
Tell him to look out for Paulie Max at Gmail. Paulie's Pod at Gmail too. Sorry, everybody.
Rags is saying that when you sent him the invite, his went to spam.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah,
good to know, Rags.
Yeah, good to know. I just told Marky check spam too. Anyway, Mark should be joining us in just a couple of minutes, hopefully. But let's continue to go through your top 3 before Mark comes on board. So what do you got? My answer on Rodgers, no. I say no, thumbs down, don't want him. No.
If anybody did want Rodgers, I'd have to have like a serious sit down with them, and I want to know why.
If he wasn't such a douchebag, he could be a very valuable piece.
Oh, he'd be a great backup quarterback with all of his experience and knowledge of the game and the position and everything. He'd be great.
Right.
And if Purdy were to go down, sure, having Rodgers as a backup, but that vibe that he brings, like watching that the Jets preseason show on HBO. I'm blanking on the name. I apologize. But the show that's really well produced, where Liv Schreiber does the voiceover, and they focus on one team every year.
It's crazy. I can't think of the name either. And I watch it. I'm with you right now, and I can't come up with it either. What is that called?
Somebody help us out here in the
so
comment line.
I know. I know.
No, it's I talk about this show.
Hard Knocks.
Thank
you guys.
Thank you
very much. I know.
No, but
that's what collective brain damage looks like, you guys. Maybe one too many Black Sabbath shows for Creative Tony and I. Brain damage here, brain damage there. Creative Tony, go ahead.
The School of Hard Knocks. I just watching that show, I saw energy there where I'm like, God, this guy, I'm not a fan. And then where there's smoke, there's fire with all his family. Like he's disconnected.
He's
his own family.
Yeah.
So, anyways, no, I'm anti-Rodgers as well, but I hate the fact that the Niners are that high on that list.
Yes.
I hate that.
Right. I do too, man.
Number 2.
Yeah.
Dubs. We're talking Dubs. Jimmy
Okay.
Butler. 2 games, 2 wins. They play the Mavericks tomorrow in Dallas. Moody started yesterday.
Right.
But also they have Pajemski, who's been starting occasionally, and then they have this 7-footer they brought up from Santa Cruz, Quentin Post, who's dropping buckets from behind the arc, dude.
I saw, bro. I'm a Quentin Post head. I like this kid. I like him a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to know, because with Moody starting, it's not a big lineup. It's a quicker, faster lineup. So who would you want to see starting of those 3 in a must-win game? Moody, Pajemski, or Quentin Post?
Moody, Pajemski, or Quentin Post. Wow. Well, I would say it might depend on like who the Warriors were playing for matchups, for the sake of matchups. But my initial kind of gut reaction is Quentin Post. I like having a big on the floor, and he's athletic. He's young. He can still move. Like Tony said, he's popping shots from behind the 3-point line and making them. So he can play big, but he can also shoot. And I'm saying Quentin Post. How about you?
Okay. I like Moody. I've always liked Moody. There's something about the way he plays the game.
I like Moody too. Yeah.
But again, and I like Pajemski too. I mean, I like all 3 of them. I guess it goes down to who they're playing and who they're matched up against. Like I'll be curious to see who Kerr starts tomorrow against the Mavericks.
Right.
And if he goes with the shorter, faster lineup in Moody. I don't know. If Anthony Davis is going to be playing. It's an interesting vibe in Dallas now too, so it should be very interesting with Butler in as a Dub, Anthony Davis as a Maverick, and they're both looking at each other like, "Whoa, didn't expect to see you here." You know,
right?
It's like what's Spicoli and Fast Times? There's no birthday party for me here. So yeah, I would probably like a Moody, but for size, Post, and having any of those 3 as like first person off the bench is pretty sweet too.
Do we have time for one more? Or is Marky in the waiting room yet?
Marky is not in the waiting room yet. Let me know if you hear back from him. And real quick, Sons of Johnny Lemaster just mentioned that they're tapping Plenty the Younger at the Gotham Club at Oracle Park tomorrow too. So those beer enthusiasts, go for it. And then he's asking who's going to opening day for Giants. Right here, dude. And we're going to talk more Giants ball as we get into the get closer to opening day.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to be a very interesting season. 79.5 wins that Vegas has for
I can't take too many more seasons like that, man. I really can't. I mean, there's nothing worse than like dull baseball, which I kind of feel like the Giants were serving up last year. There was just not a lot of spark, and it was just a lot of flat line kind of ball. So, dude, 79, you're killing me with that kind of talk. That's harsh.
Dude, it's really 79.5 wins. What do you have to look forward to? It's 500 ball. Okay.
Yeah.
Now this last one, Paulie.
Come on.
This is gonna be pushing the envelope here a little bit.
Okay.
But I'm gonna share something that I found, and it made me laugh. And it was a T-shirt that's being sold right now by Philly fans, and it says, "Do you see that?" It says
to ass,
belt to ass, 40 to 22.
Blow it up a little, but enlarge that so people can see.
Let me see if I can do this real quick. Yeah. Let me see if I can do this real quick because it's and the guy's tweet says, never ordered something so fast in my life, and it made me wonder. Like it made me think. I started laughing because like, oh my god, this reminded me when I used to get the wooden spoon as a kid, dude. And like, no chance in hell anybody's doing that now, right?
What do you mean when you say get the wooden spoon? You want to elaborate on that?
Well, dude, when I was in trouble, I would get like my mom would threaten me with the wooden spoon, and I'm like, I was wondering. And nowadays, nowadays that's not happening.
Where would the wooden spoon be applied to your personage?
On my backside, dude. On my
see.
backside.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
And
I see. Yeah.
It's just like that made me laugh so hard because I'm like, nobody's talking that, but it was again an ass kicking. And I'm wondering, did Paulie Mack ever get? See, Leah Phillips in the comment line. I got the wooden spoon too.
Yeah,
Paulie, did you ever get the wooden spoon?
By the way, Leah Phillips follows up on the ass. I guess that'd be the most sensitive part. No, I really didn't because my dad was such a big. Well, a couple of things with me. No, I never got the wooden spoon because my dad was first of all, he was a big dude. He was like an offensive lineman type guy.
Nice.
And he didn't need to get physical. Okay. He would just like yell and scare the living crap. In fact, Winks and Rags can back me on this. My dad, when he got wound up, dude, and he started yelling, you better just move out of the state. Just get out of the area. So no, I never got the wooden spoon. And the other thing is my dad told me that when he was a kid, my father went to Catholic school in New York City, and he said the brothers they would make the kids put their hands on the table, and the brothers would just come around with the ruler, wham, wham, and just hit them on the knuckles. So I think after my dad went through that, he didn't want to continue that legacy. But I always think about like greatest ass whipping story of all time was told by Richard Pryor. And I'm trying to remember if it was I think it was in the first one. Richard Pryor live in concert. He goes, when I was growing up, he goes, first of all, it wasn't bad enough that we would get whippings from our parents, but listen to this. They would make Rich go out to the woods and come back with a branch that he would then get whipped with. And he was saying he'd be like walking back crying with the branch. And he was like, it'd be whistling in the wind, like with the branch that he's about to get whipped with. So no, I never got the wooden spoon, thank God. But I got other forms of discipline. Yeah.
I'm seeing on the comment line a lot of people got the wooden spoon, and we can all share. Like the collective pain that we all went through as kids. Somebody just said, I still have splinters in my ass.
Yeah, G-Man Music. Yeah, I got him. Yeah.
Dude, Rags said he got the golf club.
Oh. Rags probably, you know what though? I got to be honest. In Rags' case, he probably was asking for it. He probably deserved it. Rags
hey, Paulie.
Yeah.
We have Marky Mark in the waiting room.
Okay, let's end the corporal punishment discussion and let's segue into some sports talk. This is our great friend Mark Cannizzaro. Bring him in. You've heard him for years on the Murph and Mac show. He's one of the great writers at the New York Post, and he's just all around one of the great guys. We love talking to Mark Cannizzaro. You can read him online or hit him on Twitter /X at Mark Cannizzaro. 2 N's, 2 Z's. Marky Mark, welcome to Paulie Mac's Particles. You got my buddy Creative Tony, former creative director of KMBR. He's the co-host. And dude, welcome aboard. Great seeing you, man.
Cheers, Mark.
Tony, good to see you, boys. I tell you what, I just listened to that little lead-in over there, and I got some bad memories of. I used to get the vacuum cleaner extender.
Oh,
all right. That's the metal vacuum cleaner extender.
Well.
The other thing was the belts, which is a common situation, belts, so a good leather belt, and the hangers.
Dude.
That's
there's something about the Italian household, like Mark coming from an Italian house. Something about the Italian household and the wooden spoon just seemed to go hand in hand. It was a very, very common instrument of discipline, Mark.
If I knew I was going to get a hammer and my room was kind of in a corner, I would roll in there quickly. I would go into my closet and take all the hangers and hurl them out the window. Because then I'm like, I'm going to be okay. And then she would come in with the vacuum cleaner extender.
Oh,
that's incredible.
All right. So let's get off of traumas from the past. So let's get,
I know we're all going to clear my head here. Okay.
I know. By the end of the show, we're all going to need like group therapy or something like that to get back on our feet. But let's get back to. So, Mark, are you still down in New Orleans, or have you flown back to New York?
No, I'm in New York in my apartment now. I just got back maybe an hour and a half ago from New Orleans. Flew back up this morning.
Well, we appreciate the time, man. Just tell us kind of your impressions and feelings. I mean, we'll start with the game, obviously. I mean, did that thing unfold as you expected, or were you kind of anticipating Kansas City three-peat?
I was leaning Kansas City three-peat just because I had a hard time betting against Mahomes.
Yeah.
And their clutch gene that they've had, the 17 games in a row with, one score wins. I didn't anticipate what happened at all. I mean, I was freaking stunned. I mean, it was just a very weird game. Like, it was weird. We've been getting spoiled with these Super Bowl games because they've been close for a long time. Most of them.
Right.
When I first started covering Super Bowls a bunch of years ago, those are the blowout years when the Bills would get smoked. Those kind of games, the Leon Lett game, and all that kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
We've kind of almost become accustomed to being tight Super Bowl games, and I thought this one was absolutely a toss a coin game when you looked at the two teams, because you kind of had Philly that had like the more complete roster, but you had Kansas City with the better quarterback, and like I said, the been there, done that, the clutch gene with the close games, and just kind of when unfolded, it just snowballed, to me, it was. I mean, listen, Philly played great. I take nothing against them. Philly, their front line, absolutely
incredible
game.
Yeah,
it reminded me a little bit of those Giant wins over New England, where the Giants' defensive line was the difference in the game. Like Eli Manning would get the MVP of the game, but you're like, why didn't Justin Tuck or Jason, or Strahan or one of these dudes get it?
Totally,
guys that really made the difference in the game.
Right.
So, when you look at this, I mean, there wasn't just one guy on that Philly line. They were all just hungry. They were eating,
Yeah. Hey, Mark, on that note, I feel like the game was basically Spags and missed like Captain Blitz versus Fangio, who didn't blitz once.
Yeah.
And it was fascinating, the two different schemes and how Philly's D-line they got after Mahomes and kept him in the pocket most of the game. That's what I think I was most impressed with.
Yeah, Tony, the thing is weird too. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I know Spags very well, spoke to a lot during the week. And listen, we don't know Spags blitzes the bejesus out of everybody. I really felt that there was no way Spags was going to let Saquon Barkley beat him. All my buddies were like, "Oh, I'm taking the over." I think the over was like 115 for rushing yards.
Yeah.
I was all over the under on that, because I was sure that Spags was going to make Jalen Hurts beat him, and he kind of did. Jalen Hurts did. It was a weird game, and again, taking nothing away from Hurts, because Hurts played a terrific game.
Yeah,
but he didn't. In my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, but he didn't really play an MVP game. There just wasn't really anybody else to give the MVP to.
That's right.
Correct.
He played a really complete, fantastic game, but he certainly didn't dominate the game. The Philly defense dominated the game,
right?
Forced Mahomes into all those problems. But if you had told me at the beginning of the game, Saquon was going to have whatever he had, 60-something yards rushing, I'm not even looking at the stats, I'd have said, Kansas City wins going away.
Yeah.
It's weird. I mean, kind of Spags, in a way, did the things that he wanted to do to that Philly offense, but the Philly defense was just that much better. And quite frankly, I really thought Mahomes was rattled.
Oh yeah,
never seen him melt down like that. I mean, he melted down, and then everybody around him melted down with the penalties.
Yeah,
then you had Juju Schuster, with that drop. That was the one play that maybe keeps Kansas City in the game a little bit, or gives them life. Because he could have still been run. He could have been run down a Bourbon Street, with that ball.
yeah.
So maybe that changes the game. It probably doesn't, because Philly was just dominating.
So
sorry, Paul. One last thing, Mark. On that note, if you would have told me that the Chiefs were going to hold Barkley, I just looked it up: 25 carries for 57 yards. If they were going to hold him to 2.3 yards a carry, and they were going to get crushed, I would have said you're crazy.
Yeah.
But the fact, that defensive front, man, I can't say enough about him. And I was thinking maybe to give the MVP to DeJean because of that game-changing pick six.
Yeah.
I agree, because Hurts, I had to ask who got the MVP, because I didn't think Hurts was necessarily deserving.
You know what, though, you guys, this is kind of a maneuver we've seen the NFL execute before. Like, Mark, I go back to the first 49ers Super Bowl, and Tony, you know this one. Super Bowl 16, they awarded Joe Montana the MVP, kind of a similar thing. It was kind of by default. They were like, well, let's see here. I mean, they probably should have given that award to Ray Wersching, the field goal kicker, because I think he hit 4 field goals that game. Montana's line was very pedestrian. I think he threw for like 130 something yards, 1 touchdown. But again, it's kind of like, who's around? All right, give it to the quarterback. And I agree with you, Mark. I thought Jalen Hurts played a good game, a sound game. He had that one big throw in the second half. But Mark's, the article that Mark Cannizzaro posted yesterday after the game, the headline, I'll just read it to you, says a lot. He goes, this was Patrick Mahomes at his worst in Super Bowl 2025. So I guess I got to kind of, and by the way, just for the viewers, everybody checking in today, Mark is a music lover and a food lover. So don't think we're not going down those paths, because we will in a couple of minutes. But a couple more things on the game first. Does this indicate any kind of start or beginning in your mind, Mark? Like, is this the start of an Eagles run, or in any way did you feel like this was the kind of a closing chapter on what Kansas City has achieved?
Yeah, I don't think it's a closing chapter. I do think what you're going to see in this offseason for Kansas City is a correction over what happened in that game, and which means fortify that offensive line.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, the Eagles, as you guys know, last year, spun out of control after a really, really good year, the 10-1 start and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And they were getting killed through the air. And what do they do in the offseason? They fortified their secondary. They got really, really they hit the jackpot with DeJean, and Mitchell, their other rookie cornerback. And they went and they made corrections, and they attacked their weakness. I think you're going to see a correction this offseason with Kansas City, to fortify that what's offensive line and maybe solidify their running game a little bit more, so it's not all on Mahomes' right arm.
Yeah.
They've got Pacheco's a pretty good running back. He's a hard runner. Obviously they brought Kareem Hunt back this year, but the running game has never been something that anybody fears when they play Kansas City. It's all about Mahomes, and Mahomes didn't have great numbers this year.
No.
And his receiving core, in fairness too, was, a lot of guys injured and all this kind of stuff, Rashee Rice out, all that. So that was a little bit scattershot. So I listen, Kansas City is just too good. Mahomes is still the best magician out there. This signals zero end of Kansas City, but it does certainly halt, obviously, the train that was looking like a unstoppable dynasty.
Yeah.
Listen, in a weird way, guys, I know I'm rambling too much, but
no, you're good, man.
This kind of sets up a fascinating storyline to me to see how the Chiefs are going to respond.
Yeah.
We still know the Chiefs are damn good. So how do they respond from this? Was this an aberration? I think it was an aberration in terms of the lopsidedness of the result. But I didn't think it was an aberration that they lost the game, because Philly was Philly's damn good.
Yeah. Mark, do you have any idea, or how long do you think Andy Reid keeps going?
That's a good question.
He's at the end of his run, I feel like.
There were so many things you can look at, and certainly he made it clear before this game he was going to keep coaching. But had he not addressed it, it certainly you would have wondered, hey, do you want to just walk away? A winner. I'm sure he doesn't want to walk away after this last game. Last performance, but I don't know. I mean, he's 66, but he just still seems like he's having fun doing it.
Yeah.
When you just could see it and in it and listen to his voice. And this game, as stressful as it can be, can keep you young too. Especially when you got a freaking good quarterback, right?
Yeah.
And you're doing State Farm commercials too now.
Yeah, if you get Zach Wilson behind center, then maybe you're going to go think about retiring or whatever.
Well, hey, Mark, while we have you, man, I mean, you were talking about aging in football and how it keeps you young and stuff. We have to get an obligatory Aaron Rodgers question in, because before you came on today, and by the way, for all the viewers, Mark covers the Jets extensively in the New York Post, so he knows a lot about what's going on over there. And Tony had found a story this morning that somehow connected Aaron Rodgers to the 49ers as like one of the 3 potential landing spots for him. So what I want to ask you, because I'm not a Rodgers guy, Mark, I'm not. I think that there's too much baggage at this point. There's too much negativity. I mean, he essentially came in and took a wrecking ball to the Jets organization, and now he's on his merry way again. Like, watching Rodgers as you have at this point in his career, is there anything left there? And if he were to come to San Francisco, like, I don't know that I could even see him accepting a backup quarterback role, which I would have to think would be his spot with this 49er team. So what have you seen from Rodgers? Can he still play? And what's the, likelihood he would accept a backup role with any team?
Well, I'm going to start with the backup role, Paulie. I think his ego is too big.
Yeah,
to do that.
Right.
I think that the the best you would see him, take the ego down a notch would be to go somewhere and be a bridge quarterback and as a starter and nurture a rookie, or a young guy along. I don't know that it's worth his while with all the money he has, et cetera, and all the opportunities he has in media wise or whatever he wants to do to be the guy, holding the clipboard,
right.
Just in case guy,
Yeah.
Can he still play? I saw evidence, yes, that he could still play, but I also saw a lot of evidence of a guy that's diminished, and that's nothing against Rodgers because the guy's 41 years old.
Yeah.
You just kind of watched him and you were waiting for the injury to happen, or when he was scrambling around. And he looked very tentative to me a lot of times when he was scrambling around because he didn't want to get hurt because of what happened the previous year with the Achilles.
Right.
The jet element of the thing was very fascinating. I know I wrote a couple of columns late in the regular season that I thought maybe he should come back because what are the alternatives? I mean, the Jets have got Tyrod Taylor as the only guy that's on contract.
Yeah.
He can't stay healthy making an omelet in the morning,
Right.
And I like Tyrod. I really do.
Yeah.
His history is he can't stay on the field.
Right.
And so where are the Jets going from there? They're not drafting low enough where they're going to get one of these top two quarterbacks. The free agency market is unimpressive at best. I mean, first of all, the best guy that potentially could be available is Sam Darnold, and he ain't coming back to the Jets to go, 2.0.
Relive that. Yeah, right.
And then there's some talk about
Kirk Cousins or
Kirk Cousins to me is an empty suit. I mean,
there you go.
I just don't. That's he's not a franchise changer. I'm sorry.
I'm with you.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, same.
So I'm just kind of like I'm not, I'm nonplussed by whatever's out there. So that my thought was, if you want to at least give yourself a chance with a pretty good, I think is still a pretty good roster, which sounds absurd for them finishing 5-12. You kind of want a competent quarterback in there. So where are they going to go with that? Like, so when Aaron Glenn, the new coach, and they were, the new regime decided, last week to tell Rodgers he was, thanks, no thanks. I hope that they have a good plan B because, Tyrod Taylor is not really a viable option. I don't think with as a plan B.
Yeah. No, very reasonable. Everything you said. Mark Cannizzaro, our guest with the New York Post. And Mark, just a few more things. We can get on the non-football stuff now, Tony, before we let Mark get away today. So for starters, dude, I got to ask you, Tony and I went over this yesterday a little bit, but just your impressions, your feelings on the halftime show. Like, I know you've been to a lot of Super Bowls. You've seen a lot of different acts. I mean, dude, it's gotten so over the top. In terms of the production, I guess this one was sort of scaled down. Not a lot of pyro, not a lot of design sets, changes in that sense. But, like, how did it strike you? Kendrick Lamar, a heavily decorated rapper of this generation. He's the guy people point to and say, like, he's the best of this era. How did the whole thing feel and translate live?
This got to be a full disclosure moment for me. First of all, not really my music scene.
Fair enough.
If Bruce was out there, I would have dropped everything and just like shoved people's, laptops out of the way and so let me get with you. And that's not. And I'm actually not. I'm certainly. I'm not anti-rap in any way. I don't mean it that way because I
got you.
Do like the music. But the greater part of my answer is at halftime for us as writers. My face is buried in this computer that I'm staring at you at.
Okay.
Cranking out my running column because I have to send as soon as the game is over.
Right.
And the fact that the game was kind of over already at halftime, it was a great opportunity to pound the column.
Nice.
So I kind of looked up a few times. I know there was the whole, what is it? It's the whole Kamar, the feud. Which is great.
I don't know. So, exactly. So go ahead.
I saw a bunch of lights flashing and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, whatever,
Yeah.
But if it was an act I wanted to see going back on previous Super Bowl times, Springsteen, U2, Prince.
Yeah.
I'm shoving everything out of the way, and I'll if I miss deadline for that, I miss deadline for that. I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah.
But this was not a deadline misser for me.
Gotcha, man. Gotcha. Yeah.
Mark, I assume if the War on Drugs was playing halftime, you probably would have put your laptop
You're
down.
on it, Creative Tony, baby.
Tony. No, this man. Hey, I'll tell you what. This is why we love Mark so much. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously he can talk sports with the best of them, but he is a real true blue music lover, the same as we are. And this man gets out in New York City or wherever he is. Mark travels like.
We're not talking more music. The hell, we're Aaron Rodgers.
I know, dude. I know. Well, we're done with Rodgers now, man. And so I saw you sent some footage out when you saw DC Fontaine, which I really want to see those guys live. How was that gig, by the way? The rock band out of Ireland. If people haven't heard them, I highly recommend them. DC Fontaine. They're pretty good.
Yeah, they are really Fontaine's DC.
Fontaine's DC.
Yeah, they are. They're one of my favorite bands out there right now. My wife and I actually went and saw them in Brooklyn a few months ago. Brooklyn Paramount. Great show.
Yeah,
awesome band. I'm just waiting for the new lineup for the for a backup and Mount.
Sound Summit. Oh, dude. Well,
yeah,
come on out. Hey, we don't have the lineup yet, but as soon as we get it, we'll send it to you. We'd love to have you back because Mark did come out. Mark's been out for a Sound Summit up on Mount Tam, arguably the most spectacular location for a live show that you could ask for. I mean, if you've never been up to the Mountain Theater, it's literally carved into the side of the mountain. The sun is setting behind the band. No, you're right. It is magical. And the War on Drugs are pretty awesome up there. Creative Tony, you've seen your fair share of those as well.
The War on Drugs. So Mark, we do a musical assignment every Friday based on a theme that we pick, and we did like Philly or Kansas City bands or music. And I was torn between the War on Drugs, a really good Philly band, and another band from Philly called Dr. Dog, and I went with Dr. Dog. But if anybody out there listening and reviewing hasn't seen the War on Drugs, and Mark does too, highly recommend seeing them live. Mark, I really wanted to talk to you about something else. You were in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Tell me about the food, because every time I go to New Orleans, I discover a new place. Like there's a breakfast spot called the Ruby Slipper that I found the last time I went there, which is phenomenal.
Marky's eyes lit up when you said that. Yeah.
So any spots that stood out to you this trip to New Orleans?
So it's funny. I'm a creature of habit, Tony. And I go back. My freshman year of college, I went to Loyola University about 5 lifetimes ago. But so I've always had a place in my heart for New Orleans. The soul. It's just the most soulful city. And so I generally go to, like, if I lock onto a place I like, I just keep pounding it, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
So in fact, literally last night, my wife and I went to a restaurant with a girlfriend of hers who lives in town. And it's a restaurant I had lunch at on Wednesday and Thursday or last week. It's called Herb Saint. It's on St. Charles Avenue.
Okay.
Really good food. And it's actually owned. So have you been down there semi recently?
Yeah.
So you know Koshan down there.
Yes, and the butcher. Yeah.
Very meat forward, awesome place. The guy that owns Koshan, this guy named oh gosh, I'm gonna screw his name up. Donald Link.
Nice.
Okay.
He owns Koshan. He owns Pesh, which is which is a fish joint right in the Warehouse District.
Yep.
He also owns Herb Saint.
Nice. Wow.
I think Herb Saint's the best out of all of them, in my opinion.
Okay.
So, the coolest story from my week, though, which I'm burying the lead on.
Yeah.
my wife Carolyn came into town on Friday. She took the overnight train down from NYC.
Nice. Oh, that's a gangster move. I like that. That's awesome.
Wow.
Huge took the Crescent Line, they call it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
She got her own little private roomette. She got a couple bottles of wine, a book, served some good food.
Damn.
She rolls into the very grim looking New Orleans train station, which is also the / bus station.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So I picked her up 9:30. We jumped in an Uber and we went to a restaurant that I kind of discovered because I like I said, I go to the places that I like or that I know already most of the time.
Sure.
This is a place called Lillette up in the Garden District that I'd never been to before.
Yeah.
The menu looked sick.
Yeah.
We Uber up and we got a 10 o'clock reservation because I knew she was getting in late. And there's like a gaggle of people outside the restaurant. It's kind of a corner joint on the street, on Magazine Street. And we're like, are these people waiting to get in for a 10 o'clock dinner? This is kind of weird. So we kind of like navigated our way through, went into the restaurant. It was, bustling, but not super busy. And we're like, what are all these people out here? That's weird. Okay. So we ordered some drinks. Our waitress was bringing over some food. So our server ends up telling us, God, it's just been a crazy night tonight. She goes, we got Taylor Swift and Travis in the back room with Mahomes.
Oh, boy. Oh,
like,
boy. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah.
So as it weirdly turned out, as we were rolling in for our 10 o'clock res, Tay-Tay and Travis and Mahomes and Brittany were slipping out a side door into a couple of SUVs.
Wow.
No way.
Paparazzi going crazy. So
wow.
That is and the food, I mean, aside from the cool element of that, the food was legit good.
Yeah,
really
nice.
Yeah.
Hey,
great story.
I'm always I like some of the simple stuff there.
Mhm.
I cannot leave New Orleans without having just my simple jambalaya over at the Acme Oyster House down in
Nice. Yes.
So,
Yes.
So my play, Tony, is on a game day because the food's going to suck inside the
correct.
That's right. Correct. Yeah.
And whatever they service in the media is going to be like a box lunch with a stale turkey sandwich.
Right.
So my MO, so we went out to a really good place for lunch on the way, on Sunday morning. And then I marched right over to Acme and got myself a couple of nice styrofoam to-goes of the jambi.
Smart.
Throw that in my bag. So
nice.
Nosh and proper jambalaya in the Superdome from
that's pretty good. That's nice move, Mark. See, that's a veteran move right there. Mark Cannizzaro pulling off, bringing in his old jambalaya to the game. That's pretty gangster. Mark, two last things. I'm going to let you get on with your day. One, I just want to relay a quick story since we're talking about food. I think you'll appreciate this. We had Brian Murphy on KMBR Murph. We had him last week. We're having him on when we can, however we can. Because Murph and we miss each other. We want to be on the air together. So any chance we get.
I miss you guys.
I do too. Well, listen, you never know
Me
what's
too.
down the road. That's all I'll say. You never know what's down the road. But anyway, Murph came on and he was telling me a story where he ran into Chris Mullen recently, a couple of weeks ago. He ran into Mully at some event. And one thing leads to another. Murph asked Chris Mullen, a Brooklyn boy, he says, so Mully, you got to tell me when you're in New York City, what's your go-to pizza spot in Manhattan? So let me ask you, Mark, if you could predict what Chris Mullen's go-to pizza joint in New York City would be, what would your answer be?
I know what yours is.
Yep.
And yours is a good one.
Yep.
I'm going to throw out I'm only going to throw this in out because it's my favorite.
Okay.
Lombardi. I'm a Lombardi's guy.
Well, see, no, the answer is not Lombardi's, but no disrespect. I'm sure
it would be. But,
if you endorse it, dude, it's got to be money. And next time I come to New York, I demand you drag me to Lombardi's.
Yeah,
you got to take me to Lombardi's.
Nice.
But no, Chris Mullen actually said his go-to spot is John's on Bleecker. He's a John's on Bleecker guy.
It was a trick question then. That's their show.
Here's the best part. He went on to tell Murph, it goes, I like the pizza at John's on Bleecker. And he goes, and on top of that, he had a key to the gym 2 doors down from John's, and he used to go in there and work out like in the overnight hours and stuff. So not only did he get his pizza on Bleecker, he used to work out on Bleecker at some empty church gym.
And meanwhile, his St. John's Red Storm was kicking some ass right now.
Dude.
Yeah, it's
great. Great to see them. Yeah, it's great to see them back on the national stage. I was watching a St. John's game a couple nights ago, actually. And then last thing from Mark Cannizzaro. Now, this is just a rumor, but I got to share this now so we can both start putting things in place.
Okay.
I'm hearing that Springsteen is going to end this tour. He's been touring on, I guess, for 3 years now. This is going into year 3. He's got some European shows in the spring and summer.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing, Mark, is he's going to come to Jersey and do, I think, 3 shows at MetLife to end the entire tour. And what I've heard is he's got it held right now for Labor Day weekend. So I'm just saying, when the dates are announced, I'm coming. I'm going to drag KMBR Murph. He needs to see Bruce in New Jersey.
Creative Tony down there too. Let's do the pod from the parking lot. Let's do the pod from 16C, baby. Let's go.
Done. We'll talk set lists. We'll talk tendencies. And by the way, have you seen the Little Steven documentary on HBO?
I'm not going to lie to you. I actually watched it, and I had tears in my eyes for some segments of it because I just love some of that stuff. that's all in my world here. And I know Steven a little bit through one of my good buddies here who's best friends with him.
Nice.
And I got emotional watching some of it, which I know sounds cool, but it's good.
I thought it was excellent. And just the fact that little Steven Van Zandt out of New Jersey actually had his hands in the freeing of Nelson Mandela is mind-blowing to even say something that outrageous, but it's true. That's the thing. If you watch this documentary, you will be blown away with how pivotal little Steven's role was in getting that momentum going to get Nelson Mandela out of jail. It's really mind-blowing. And then the other one, Mark, speaking of tears, bro, I watched Springsteen's Road Diaries on Hulu for the first time about a month ago.
I have not seen that yet.
So good.
Bring a box of Kleenex. Just have one right. Oh, dude. At least in my case. I'm a sensitive boy just like you, dude. And once there are certain things, Bruce can, all I got to say, dude, is I got extremely emotional watching that. It's outstanding.
I went to the two of his shows on, we did the solo thing on Broadway.
Yeah.
And that was pretty powerful stuff.
I know, me too. Yeah.
I mean, that was like, and it was a lot of money to get in through that turnstile for that place. As you know,
dude,
it's worth every freaking penny.
I told Liz, because Liz, my wife only sees me cry generally at Springsteen shows. It's like
or over John's Pizza, but that's
or over a good slice of pizza. And when we went to the Broadway show a few years ago, I was telling her, I said, Liz, there's a very high percentage chance that I'm going to get emotional during this show. And Marky, dude, I was in tears 5 minutes into growing up. It did and she goes, well, I didn't think it was going to happen that fast. And I'm like, yeah, I got no control over it. It's just, it happens when it happens. Mark, we love you, bro. Thank you for coming on today. It's great to see you. Great to hear your voice. And we'll do it again down the road. And I'm just saying, circle Labor Day weekend, MetLife Stadium. If those shows are announced, I'll be there. I'm bringing Murph with me. Creative Tony, you're on the hook too. There's no getting out of this one.
Twist my arm, please.
However many shows there are, we're doing all of them.
You got it.
One.
Done. No, you got to do the whole run. You got to do the whole run. I'm right there with you, brother. And everybody read Mark Cannizzaro at the online at the New York Post. You can hit him at Mark Cannizzaro on X as well. Marky, you be good. Thanks for the time today, brother.
I'll be insulted if I'm not back on this thing in a week. All right.
You got it. Your phone will be ringing.
Anytime, Mark. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
So much, Mark.
Talk to you soon, brother.
Right, take care, man.
Be good.
Right.
Mark Cannizzaro, everybody. Obviously, for good reason. One of our give him a round of applause. Now he's one of the all-time greats. I mean,
Paulie,
yeah.
There's just few people that spend so much time in the sporting world that can also talk music and culture and food like that. I enjoyed that conversation so much. I had so much more to ask him too. I struggle with I felt like with Mayoko too. Like there's so much to ask him, and it's like because like Frenchman Street in New Orleans and certain restaurants like. And I just listening to him talk about he's such a good writer, but he's also just a passionate person, right?
Now, also, what would you say about your boy Paulie Mack? This is a kind of a curious part of my existence on this planet is that I'm surrounded by people. I'll include you in this. Creative Tony, Mark Cannizzaro, Brian Murphy, Rags, Christian Ereg, all of like my closest inner circle. Like you guys are all lunatic golfers. I haven't swung a golf club with any kind of meaningful purpose in my life, maybe 5 times. And it's like, that's the other thing about Mark I just wanted to tell you. Like, I don't share that part of it with him because he golfs all over the world. But, dude, the guy has also golfed on every meaningful course. I think he's played the Masters. I'm not kidding. Yeah.
Wow.
He's played in Scotland. Okay. He's played in freaking Britain. He's played all over the world. So I'm just saying that's another talking point for next time, Tony. You have any golf questions, you bring it up. He's got an answer. He's covered golf all over the world and he's played golf all over the world. So, and again, for me, it's like I got no stake in that fire, man. I got nothing to say. You guys can go on a golf, you go golf. I'm not included. Yeah.
That's fantastic, man. And by the way, I have to say, while we're interviewing Mark on the side, the comment line, they're having their own side chat.
I forgot to tell Mark. Do me a favor, Tony, going forward from now on, because I forgot to do this today. Always tell the guests that they should activate their comments line.
Sure.
I don't think Mark realized all the action that was going on around him. And I kept meaning to say, hit the comments, because I know, very active today. Creative Tony, I think that's all the heavy lifting we can do for one day. I want to remind everybody, tomorrow is a Wednesday. What does that mean, kids? It's a night flight. We're taking this bad boy to the 8 p.m. airwaves. We'll see you tomorrow night. there's a whole different vibe. Now there's a Roby Tuesday vibe, but then there's a Night Flight vibe. How would you compare and contrast, Tony, the vibes of the shows that we're dealing with here?
Well, the robe, I feel like, is a Roby Tuesday. It's just a comfort of like kind of like easing through your day. Whereas
I understand.
The night shift, night flight, night moves, whatever you want to call it, it's we're both night owls, so it's more of a festive vibe. If you get what I'm saying.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Tony. I got mildly distracted reading John Joseph, who's breaking down Wasp and Chris Holmes on the text line right now. Because listen, John, we'll talk Wasp. You want to talk Wasp going forward? You want Blackie Lawless? We want Chris Holmes? We'll get into it.
Yes. Also, real quick, Robot Centaur says, "Can we, when we get back to Dubs Talk, can we talk about Buddy Ball? Can we talk about Buddy Hield since Butler?" Yes, dude. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
I love
absolutely.
I love the fact that you've just come up with a term for the brand of ball they're playing. Buddy Ball.
Buddy Ball. Let's go.
I'm Buddy.
Well,
listen,
you remember Billy Ball? Remember Billy Ball?
I do remember Billy Ball. I do. Yeah. Buddy Ball, bro. Buddy Ball. Buddy Ball was hopping and popping last night, dude. He had 14, I think, in the first quarter last night. He played a great game.
This move, you have to give the Dubs front office credit. It has rejuvenated everybody, including us and all the fan base and Steph Curry and the players. Like it's just keep it coming. Keep it freaking coming. That's all I gotta say.
Hey, final thing, Tony, give me the outro music too, so it'll make us sound a little more professional. Christian Eric saying, "Here, we're all like the kids here in church. We're all whispering to each other while the mass is going on." Is that what this is? This is our version of mass. Hey, listen, all I know is that we're so happy to have this community together. Hey, Sons of Johnny Lee, thanks for your generosity today.
Yes. Boo. Hey, Paulie, can I dismiss the class?
Please. Oh, yeah. I brought my... Give me something to write on, man. Creative Tony, favorite Van Halen track of all time. Go. Just top of your head.
House of Pain.
Damn. Did not expect that. That's a heavy track, dude. That's a heavy song.
It's one of my favorites. Yeah. The band, the album 1984. And for their first album, we're going to start doing more on this date and history stuff as the show progresses.
Go ahead, Tony.
Yesterday was the anniversary of Van Halen's first album being released in 1978, I believe you said, Paulie. 78?
Bro, it looks like I touched a nerve again. G-Man Music, Girl Gone Bad, John Joseph, Atomic Punk.
Yes.
There's no wrong answer. Anything off the first 6 Van Halen albums, there's not a bad track on any one of those albums. Creative Tony, final thing about Van Halen, only because I know this, I like to share these stats. Their first album, their first album sold 10 million copies.
Oof.
Count them, 10 million.
Wow.
Their last album, 1984, sold 10 million copies. How many bands can bookend their run and say, we sold 10 million out of the gate and we sold 10 million when we were closing down shop? Because as soon as Sammy Hagar came in, I got news for you folks, and as great as Sammy is, he's a great guy. That ain't Van Halen. It's just, I'm sorry, it's just not. With all due respect to everybody involved.
Dude, it's Van Hagar. It's Van Hagar. I call it Van Hagar. That's fine.
It's really funny. I just read, here we go. Now I'm going on a tangent. Patty from Napa saw him at the US Festival. God bless you. That's when Dave the Assless Chaps. He was out there in the Assless Chaps at the US Festival. Look at all the people here tonight. Creative Tony, I just wanted to say that I just read the Alex Van Halen book. He just released his book about his life and about his brother Eddie. It's a really beautiful book. I recommend it. He won't even acknowledge the Sammy Hagar era.
Wow.
The whole book is only about the Dave years. So think about that. That's from inside the band. He sees that as being the true representation of Van Halen.
Oh, he doesn't want to talk about OU812?
Well, dude, I'll leave it on this. Final thing of the day. David Lee Roth kind of distilled it into this one thing. He goes, a lot of people want to know the difference between Sam Hagar and David Lee Roth. First of all, Sammy Hagar, all his songs are about love. How do I know when it's love? Love comes walking in. Could this be love? And I, Diamond Dave, ain't talking about love. Boom. That's right, Diamond Dave. On that note, we'll see everybody tomorrow. Peace, y'all. Night flight, 8 p.m. PMP Army. I'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks for checking in today. Peace, y'all.